How y'all doing? We're here with Ginger in the Desert Creations. I played with something that looked flamey, and I want to do it again on a more square canvas. Let's go play! So even though I wasn't crazy about the execution of Burn, where I did the upright flames that flowed up the small board, I like the concept, and so I wanted to do it as a sort of blowout, flowery, bloomy looking thing, and see what happens. So I have a selection of colors here, and we will try to do this. Start with a very, very liquidy base coat, which I have made such a thin consistency with my M1 paint additive. Looks like water, but it has binders and stuff in it. Blue in the center. A little bit of lighter blue around it. I am trying to not be as heavy-handed as we know I can be. Gonna ring around the rosy with the white. It is off center. I'm not going to pretend I did it on purpose, but I'm kind of happy with it, so we're going. It's not really flamey, but it is very interesting. Come check it out. We got wisps here that are going to be lovely shiny up in there. The center's going to have all kinds of shinies in it. Moving back down, we got this orange. Let's just wrap around the edge and take in the view of all these cells. Is that not crazy? Lovely color mixing. Little rivulets of blue that made it all the way up there, and it is still developing because the stuff is just pushing its way up under the black, especially here where it looked like there was nothing just a few minutes ago. Crazy, crazy. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned for the dry result. I find this one strangely fascinating. It didn't do anything that I would have expected. But I do kind of love the rolled edge and the blue in the center and the flow of it. Here we are with Jacob's Well. I recently heard a ghost story about Jacob's Well. It is actually a place. It's like a 12-foot across underwater cave. And that would be something very fascinating if I wasn't terrified of drowning. But check out the colors. There is so much mixing in there. That is like, that's insane. But we got, oh, this whole thing is a color explosion. But that's sort of what it reminded me of. when I looked at it. It also kind of reminds me of a cross-section of a mushroom, if you like had a weird way of showing off the anatomy while there was still water in it. These are the strange things my brain does.
The large building we are passing on our left is Cadmium House. Cadmium House was built in the 18th century by the Swanwick family, a family of shipbuilders and merchants, whose most famous member was the poet and novelist Tobias Smollett. Such was the wealth and influence of the Smollets. The house has welcomed a few famous guests in its time. Former Prime Ministers Winston Churchill and Anthony Eden, as well as Empress Eugenie of France. As was the case with many ancestral homes across Britain, the costs of upkeep, staff and servants became unsustainable for the family. It was sold in 1986, and after extensive additions to the original building, Cadmium House was converted into a luxury 5-star hotel and resort. House on the hill that you may be able to spot between the trees on the left is Auchendennan House. Auchendennan House was commissioned in 1860 by the Glasgow-based tobacco merchant George Marte and was designed by famous Scottish architect John Burnett. During the Second World War, the house was used as a convalescing home for American servicemen coming from the front. After the war, as a goodwill gesture, the house was converted into a youth hostel, thanks to a generous donation from American trade unions. The house remained a youth hostel until 2012. Today it is owned by Loch Lomond Distillery, who use it as a base for their offices. The house also marks the site of the hunting lodge of King Robert the Bruce, who owned much of the land and islands in Loch Lomond. These he used as his private hunting estate, introducing much of the deer and game birds to the islands and surrounding area.